Hello there and welcome to another Nick Beck's Watch Reviews. Today I bring you a SEIKO chronograph. This has been lent to me for reviewing and I'd like to kind of have a look at it myself, take some comments on board from you guys and see what you think and tell you what I think. So this is the SEIKO SSB323P1, and if I just pop the little tag in front there so we can see, got a water resistance of 100 meters and the Hardlex crystal. So before I move on to picking up the watch, I'd just like to go through a few of the specs on it. First of all, the movement is a caliber 8T67, which gives you an accuracy of within 15 seconds per month. It has a battery life of 3 years approximately. It's all stainless steel with a hard coating. As I said, Hardlex crystal, Lumibright hands. The case is 43.9 diameter and 12.9 thick. It's 100 meter waterproof. I may have already said that, but it's 100 meter waterproof, so it's okay to kind of splash, get wet, maybe even take it in the shower, maybe even I'd probably trust it in the pool, but that's entirely up to you. The lug width is 22 millimeters and lug to lug, I've measured it at approximately 52 millimeters, but I've actually done that on quite a crude ruler, so it's approximately that. Anyway, without further ado, I shall pick up the watch and let's have a look. So here it is. It's come in a very nice SEIKO box, and as you probably know from my previous reviews, the box is, I think, quite an important thing. It's the first presentation of the watch you buy, and I think it's it's an important piece of the shop window, if you like. And this one I was very impressed with. It's quite a firm, sort of sturdy box with a velvet pillow inside, SEIKO stamped on the top, and it's a nice box. Come inside a larger box, and with the SEIKO guarantee and the manual, and I'm very, very impressed with the packaging. Anyway, on to the more important thing, the watch itself. So like I say, it's a fairly big watch. It comes in quite heavy, but it's not so heavy that it's uncomfortable on the wrist. I don't know if you know the SEIKO Kinetic Diver. I've had a couple of those and I've found those very beautifully made. Unfortunately, they're pretty heavy. This is about, I'd say, 2/3 of that weight, if it gives you any indication at all. So it's comfortable on the wrist, but it feels adequate, and it kind of feels, it's quite an impressive feeling watch. And I'm sure people in the watch fraternity will understand exactly where I'm coming from. So as you can see, it's got a black dial, and if I could bring that up close to the camera, you can see the tuxedo stripes on the central kind of ring there, and then the motorsport lettering of the digits. You've got hours and minutes on the chronograph. There we go, if I bring that up close to the camera. And the dial itself, it's difficult to see in this light, but it's also textured round the edge, the kind of outer rim. Almost like, it sort of looks like a tarmac. You've got black shiny bezel, but that's more of a sort of charcoal. And as you can see, it has, I'm not sure if I can catch it in this light, but you have rose gold crown and push buttons. Rose gold SEIKO applied indice there with chronograph 100, and the hands are tipped with rose gold, and there's a little rose gold screw between the hour and the minute sign just up the top there. So it's not overdone. I think it's quite delicately done with a little detailing. I like the framework around the different dials, and the bottom dial, the small second hand, is different from the double dial for the minutes and the seconds, which I think is quite good, or the minutes and the hours, beg your pardon. We have a negative date window, and that's very clear. The watch is brushed on the top of the case, if you can just see the lugs. and it's highly polished on the edges and the buttons are highly polished. And if I just turn it round, you can see the other side is, again, it's highly polished but brushed on the tops. The bracelet I love. I think the bracelets are really nice. It's brushed all the way round. There's no kind of center links that have been polished. And if I open it, it's got the typical three-fold clasp. Unfortunately, you've got sort of folded end links there, so they're not solid end links. But then I think in the case of this watch, it's probably not a bad thing, because I think it would then become a little bit too heavy. I think it would be nice to see a milled clasp on this. Certainly the insert would be nice, rather than that sort of old-fashioned pressed steel. But it's Seiko. It's a good quality pressed steel clasp, and it closes very well. There's a really good kind of solid clip to it, and then you've Seiko actually written on the clasp, and you've got the push buttons either side to open. What I do like about this watch on the bracelet is it seems every single link, I don't know if you can see that in the light there, can be taken out. So no matter how big your wrist size is, you can probably find an adjustment to suit you. And the links are also, or the bracelet's actually drilled into the edges of the case, which I think again is a nice detail. The links are polished on the edge, as is the case, but as I say, the top of the bracelet is, I guess that's an oyster style bracelet, is all brushed, and the end links fit beautifully. It really is a very, very well executed watch. I can say I like the, get it back into focus there, I like the rose gold detailing. I think that's a really nice touch. And I really like this. I like the tuxedo pinstripes on the dial, if I can catch those in the light. There we go. I think that's a really nice touch. And I'm very impressed. It's the first Seiko chronograph I've actually picked up for many, many years. I had one similar about 20 years ago, which was quite a lot more money back then. And, you know, these have come down in price, but you're still getting that great Seiko name and a great quality chronograph. And I think for a kind of a quartz watch as this is, I think Seiko is a brand that kind of pushes across the boundaries of being a luxury watch as well as an everyday affordable watch. You know, if I had to compare it to a car, I'd say it's probably like a BMW. You know, you get a lot of quality, you get a great brand name, but they are affordable. So that's the Seiko Motorsports inspired chronograph. So I'm going to pop it on my wrist. It hasn't been adjusted for me, so you know it's going to be a bit big, but it will just give you some indication. So without further ado, here we have it on the wrist. So like I say, it sits really nicely considering the kind of size of the watch. And the fact that the lug width seems to be rather large, the 52, it's actually a really, really comfortable watch. I think if I had the band done to fit me, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable wearing it at all. It's a lovely weight. It's got a real kind of solidness about it, a typical Seiko. But yeah, it's really pleasant, and I haven't got huge wrists. My wrists, I don't know what size they are. I think they're 7.5. But yeah, it sits really, really nicely. Like I say, as you can see, it's for somebody much larger than me, so there's plenty of scope to bring it down. But yeah, so that's the Seiko Chronograph Motorsports. So this one I think is available from most jeweler shops. I think it's from around about £200 to £280 to buy. So it's affordable, but it's not a cheap watch, which is something I like, as you probably know from my previous videos. So anyway, without further ado, I shall leave you there. I shall wish you all a Merry Christmas, because it's rapidly upon us now. Thank you to all my subscribers again, and all my new subscribers. Thank you very much to a particularly great subscriber. I've had a lot of good feedback and a lot of conversation with my friend Arpad in Hungary. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. And yeah, Merry Christmas to you all, and I'll see you again in the new year.